This week, as time quietly moves forward, nature continues doing what it always does, changing, adapting, becoming. You might not even notice it at first. A slight shift in the air, longer light in the evenings, the feeling that something is moving, even if you can't quite explain it. And the interesting thing is, nature never questions itself while it changes. It doesn't rush. It doesn't compare. It doesn't stand still and say, I should be further along by now. It simply responds to where it is. And that brings up something worth asking yourself this week, because for most of us, judgment is the default. It's quick, it's automatic, and it often sounds like truth. I'm behind. I've wasted time. I'm not doing enough. Why can't I just get it together? These thoughts don't usually feel like opinions. They feel like facts. But what if they're not? What if they're just habits of thinking? And more importantly, what if those habits are quietly shaping the way you experience your entire life? Think about it. If every mistake becomes proof that you're not good enough, if every slow moment becomes evidence that you're failing, if every uncertainty becomes something to criticize, then growth starts to feel heavy, restricted, almost impossible. Not because you can't grow, but because you're not giving yourself the space to. Curiosity changes the experience completely. Curiosity doesn't rush to conclusions. It pauses and asks, why did that affect me so much? What am I actually afraid of here? Is there another way to look at this? What might I need right now that I'm not giving myself? And those questions might seem simple, but they create something powerful. Space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to understand yourself instead of fighting yourself. Right now, in this part of the year, not everything is fully formed. Some things are still uncertain. Some things are still developing. Some things are happening quietly, beneath the surface. And if you judged nature at this stage, you might think nothing is working. You might think it's behind. You might think it's not doing enough. But that wouldn't be true. It would just mean you're looking too early or too critically to see what's actually unfolding. So what if the same is true for you? What if you're not behind? You're just in a phase that isn't fully visible yet. What if you're not failing? You're learning something you haven't fully understood yet. What if nothing is wrong with you, but the way you've been speaking to yourself is? Because the way you talk to yourself matters more than you think. It shapes your confidence, your decisions, your willingness to try again. And if that voice is mostly judgmental, it becomes harder and harder to move forward. Not because you lack ability, but because you're constantly working against yourself. But here's the good news. You don't need to silence that voice completely. You don't need to force yourself to suddenly feel confident or positive all of the time. You just need to change the tone of the conversation from judgment to curiosity, from what's wrong with me to what's going on with me, from I failed again to what can I learn from this, from I'll never change to what's one small step I could take. That shift might seem small, but it changes the direction of everything. Take a deep breath and repeat these affirmations quietly, or just let them settle in. I am allowed to grow at my own pace. I choose curiosity over judgment. I am learning more about myself every day. I do not need to have everything figured out right now. I respond to myself with patience and understanding. My experiences are here to teach me, not define me. I am open to seeing myself in a new way. So, as you move through this week, notice the moments where judgment shows up, not to criticize it, but to become aware of it. And when it does, just pause and ask yourself gently, what would curiosity say here? If you procrastinate, instead of, I'm so lazy, try, what am I avoiding and why? If you feel overwhelmed, instead of, I can't handle this, try, what's one thing I can focus on right now? If something doesn't go the way you planned, instead of, I messed everything up, try, what can I take from this experience? These small shifts don't just change your thoughts, they change your relationship with yourself. And maybe that's what this week is really about. Not fixing everything, not becoming perfect, but learning how to stand on your own side a little more, to meet yourself with understanding instead of pressure, to stay open instead of shutting down. Because growth doesn't come from being judged into change. It comes from being understood enough to change. So carry that with you this week. Notice where curiosity softens something. Notice where it opens a door. And see what begins to shift when you stop judging the process and start exploring it instead. I'll see you in the next one. You have been listening to Euphonic Balance. Soothe your soul with sound.